Introduction 1. The objective of this work. The Gospel can be divided into 5 parts: the events in the life of Christ, the miracles, the prophecies, the words taken by the Church on which they base their dogmas, the moral teachings. The first 4 have been the object of controversies, but the last, however, has remained constantly inviolate. Before this divine code even incredulity bows down. This is the common ground where all cults may be united, the flag under which all may gather, whatever their creeds may be. Because it has never been a matter of religious dispute, which always and in all places has originated from dogmatism. Moreover, if it had been discussed, then all cults would have found their own condemnation within it, seeing that, in the majority, they have held on to the more mystical rather than the moral part, which demands an intimate reform from each one. Specially prepared for mankind, it constitutes a code of rules on how to behave in every circumstance of private and public life, and offers the basic principles for all social relations, founded on rigid justice. It is, finally and above all, the infallible route to lasting happiness and the uplifting of a comer of the veil that hides the future life. This is what forms the exclusive objective of this work. Everyone admires the moral behind the gospel. Everyone proclaims its sublime menace and the need we have of it. However, of the many who proclaim their faith, believing what others have said or relying on maxims which have become proverbs, few know the basis and even fewer understand it or are able to deduce the consequences of it. In many cases, the reason for this is in the difficulty of understanding the gospel, which for many is quite unintelligible. The allegorical form used and the intentional mysticism of the language make it something we read because we feel we ought to, because our conscience tells us to, or because we are obliged to, as one would read prayers, without understanding them and consequently without taking any benefit from them. In this way the moral precepts go unnoticed, scattered here and there between a mass of narrative. This makes it impossible to get the general idea of the whole or to take these ideas as specific subjects for reading and meditation. It is true that various works have already been written concerning the evangelic moral, but after being put into modern prose they have lost their primitive simplicity, which at the same time constitutes their charm and authenticity. Many others also deal with the best-known maxims reduced to the simplest form of proverb. These then are no more than aphorisms, deprived of part of their value and interest due to the lack of accompanying accessories and the circumstances of the enunciation. In order to avoid these undesirabilities, we have collected together in this work all the subjects, so to say, that go to form a universal moral code without distinction as to creed. In these citations we have kept all that is useful to the development of these ideas, putting aside only that which does not pertain directly to the matter. Apart from this, we have kept scrupulously to the translations by Sayce I and to the division of the verses. But instead of following a chronological order, which would have been impossible and have made no sense, we have methodically grouped and classified the various maxims according to their respective natures so that they follow on one from the other as much as possible. Indication of chapters and verses permit reference to the original texts whenever desired. These details refer only to the material side of our work, which in its own would be of secondary importance. The main objective was to put these teachings within easy reach of everybody by means of clear explanations, especially those passages which have until now remained obscure, and so unfold the full consequences of these teachings and the manner in which they may be applied to all walks of life. This is what we have attempted to do together with the help of the good spirits who assist us. Many paints in the Gospel, the Bible, and in the writings of the sacred authors are in general unintelligible, some even appearing nonsensical for lack of key which would help in understanding their true meaning. This key is to be found in its massed complete form within Spiritism, as those who have already made a serious study of it can verify, and as many more in the future will also come to recognize. Spiritism is to be found throughout ancient times and repeatedly during the different epochs of humanity. We find vestiges in many places in the form of writings, in beliefs, and in monuments. This is the reason why at the same time it is opening new horizons for the future, it is also projecting a no less brilliant light upon the mysteries of the past. As a complement to each precept we have added some well-chosen instructions from amongst those dictated, in various countries and 2 different mediums, by the spirits. If they had been taken from only one origin, they would probably have suffered the influence either of the person or the ambient, whereas the diversification of origins proves that the spirits give teachings without distinction and that no one person is specially privileged. This work is for the use of everyone. From it, we may all discover the means by which we may apply Christ's morals to our daily lives and how best to go about it. This applies very specially to Spiritists, thanks to the relationship between man and the invisible world, which has henceforth been established on a permanent basis. The law of the gospel, which the spirits have taught to all nations, will no longer be a matter of dead words, because each one will be able to understand them and will see themselves incessantly compelled to put them into practice according to the counseling of the spiritual guides. These instructions coming from Spirit are really the voices from heaven who have come to enlighten mankind and invite him to put the gospel into practice.